अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. हरि ओम्. ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविविरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishna. Readings from and reflections on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are continuing from the previous class, page 134. Sri Ramakrishna. What is milk like? Oh, you say it is something white. You cannot think of the milk without the whiteness. And again, you cannot think of the whiteness without the milk. Thus, one cannot think of Brahman without Shakti, or of Shakti without Brahman. One cannot think of the Absolute without the relative, or of the relative without the Absolute. The primordial power is ever at play. The idea introduces the elements of spontaneity and freedom in the creation. She is creating, preserving and destroying, in play as it were. This power is called Kali. Kali is verily Brahman, and Brahman is verily Kali. It is one and the same reality. When we think of it as inactive, that is to say, not engaged in the acts of creation, preservation and destruction, then we call it Brahman. But when it engages in these activities, then we call it Kali or Shakti. The reality is one and the same. The difference is in name and form. It is like water, called in different languages by different names, such as Jal, Pani and so forth. There are 3 or 4 gods on a lake. The Hindus who drink water at one place call it Jal. The Muslims at another place call it Pani. And the English at a third place call it water. All these denote one and the same thing, the difference being in the name only. In the same way, some address the reality as Allah, some as God, some as Brahman, some as Kali, and others by such names as Rama, Jesus, Durga, Hari. Keshav with a smile. Describe to us, sir, in how many ways Kali, the Divine Mother, sports in this world? Master with a smile. Oh, she plays in different ways. It is she alone who is known as Mahakali, Nitya Kali, Smashana Kali, Raksha Kali, and Shyama Kali. Mahakali and Nitya Kali are mentioned in the Tantra philosophy. When there were neither the creation nor the sun, the moon, the planets and the earth, and when darkness was enveloped in darkness, then the mother, the formless one, Mahakali, the great power, was one with Mahakala, the absolute. Shyama Kali has a somewhat tender aspect and is worshipped in the Hindu households. She is the dispenser of boons and the dispeller of fear. People worship Raksha Kali, the protectress, in times of epidemic, famine, earthquake, drought and flood. Smashana Kali is the embodiment of the power of destruction. She resides in the cremation ground, surrounded by corpses, jackals and terrible female spirits. From her mouth flows a stream of blood. From her neck hangs a garland of human heads, and around her waist a girdle made of human hands. After the destruction of the universe, at the end of the great cycle, the Divine Mother garners the seeds for the next creation. She is like the elderly mistress of the house who has a hodgepodge pot in which she keeps different articles for household use. All laugh. Oh yes, housewives have pots like that where they keep sea foam. The master perhaps referred to the cuttlefish bone found on the seashore. The popular belief is that it is hardened sea foam. Housewives have pots like that where they keep sea foam, blue pills, small bundles of seeds of cucumber, pumpkin and gourd and so on. They take them out when they want them. In the same way, after the destruction of the universe, my Divine Mother, the embodiment of Brahman, gathers together the seeds for the next creation. After the creation, the primal power dwells in the universe itself. She brings forth this phenomenal world and then pervades it. In the Vedas, creation is likened to a spider and its web. The spider brings the web out of itself and then remains in it. God is the container of the universe and also what is contained in it. Is Kali, my Divine Mother, of a black complexion? She appears black because she is viewed from a distance. But when intimately known, she is no longer so. The sky appears blue at a distance, but look at it close by and you will find that it has no color. The water of the ocean looks blue at a distance, but when you go near and take it in your hand, you find that it is colorless. The master became intoxicated with divine love and sang, Is Kali, my mother, really black? The naked one, or blackest hue, lights the lotus of the heart. The master continued, Bondage and liberation are both of her making. By her Maya, worldly people become entangled in woman and gold. And again, through her grace, they attain their liberation. She is called the Savior and the remover of the bondage that binds one to the world. Then the master sang the following song in his melodious voice. The allusion of this song is to the well-known kite-flying competitions in India. Several people fly their kites and try to cut one another's kite strings. Whoever has his string cut loses his kite and quits the game. In the world's busy marketplace, O Shyama, thou art flying kites. High up they soar on the wind of hope, held fast by Maya's string. Their frames are human skeletons, their sails of the three gunas made. But all their curious workmanship is merely for ornament. Upon the kite strings, thou hast rubbed the manja paste of worldliness. Manja paste is a glue of barley and powdered glass, so as to make each straining strand all the more sharp and strong. Out of 100,000 kites, at best, but one or two break free, and thou dost laugh and clasp thy hands, O Mother, watching them. On favoring winds, says Ram Prasad, the kites set loose will speedily be borne away to the infinite across the sea of the world. The master said, the Divine Mother is always playful and sportive. This universe is her play. She is self-willed and must always have her own way. She is full of bliss. She gives freedom to one out of 100,000. So welcome to this gospel class. We have taken a small passage, and then this small passage is very interesting and have deep meaning into what Sri Ramakrishna is telling the devotees. as we saw that he has gone with Keshav in a boat, and there he is meeting all the devotees, and Keshav Sen was sitting there, and they were all discussing spiritual subjects. There Master is explaining that what we see outside world, the power that we see, is nothing but the glory of God. So he calls that which is creating, preserving and dissolving that aspect of God, he calls it Shakti. And that which is the source of this power, he calls it Brahman. And he says Brahman and Shakti are non-different. That means they are not different. Why they are not different? How it can be like that? Then he explains by some examples. One example he says is milk and its whiteness. Can you differentiate or separate the whiteness from the milk? If the milk is there, it must be white. Unless you put some other external powders, etc. Otherwise the original milk is white. And when you think of milk, you will think of the whiteness. So likewise, the Brahman and Shakti cannot be separated. Then he says that one cannot think of the absolute without the relative. The relative is the world that we see around, where mountains are there, rivers are there, plants and trees are there, and birds are there, all the beings are there. This is called relative world. And there is an absolute world. That absolute and the relative both are one and the same. And he says the primordial power, that means the original power which came out from the Brahman, from God, the power of God is ever at play. It is playing and playing and playing, ever. It is not stopping. What is the play of this primordial power? The primordial power's play is creation, preservation and destruction. These three are in a cycle. They are always going on and on and on forever. That's why if anybody asks, when did the creation start in the beginning? You have to say in the beginning. But when is the beginning? Nobody can find out. The beginning is not known. So it is called Anadi. And then one day when it will end, the destruction will happen. The universe will be taken out. But then again another universe will start coming. So there is no end to the destruction also. That means the cycle will be going on and on and on. It's called Ananta. It is infinite. So it has no beginning, it has no end, and in between only it stays. So Sri Ramakrishna says that creating, preserving and destroying power, this power is called Kali. A very beautiful term, Kali. And that Kali is, that power is worshipped by the Hindus in the form of goddess mother. And you must have seen the Kali's photo and the pictures done by artists, and they depict Mother Kali in a very fearful form, because her hair is disheveled and it is flowing like that, and then she looks somewhat, some people will say, no, some people say, oh, we are afraid to look at Kali's picture. It is not like Lakshmi or Saraswati or Parvati. And these three deities, you see them, they look so beautiful. But here the Mother Kali looks so fearful. And also she has got 4 arms somewhere more arms also. In Calcutta, there is a temple of Kali where Kali has got 1,000 arms. Her statue is there, and around that 1,000 hands are drawn there. So it's a 1,000 arms she had. What does that mean? That means it is 1,000 is only a number to indicate the infinity. It's not that exactly 1,000 somebody is counting it, but if you count it comes 1,000. But that the number itself refers to much larger number. That means you cannot count. That's what I say. Suppose you stand there and start counting 1, 2, 3. After 250 you leave it. it's all right, okay. Because how long you count? But it shows that the infinity is there. Countless hands she has got. And she is the power. So Kali, now we are happy that in October, next month, we are having Durga Puja on 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, up to 8th. And you will see that after that, 27th October is Kali Puja. So Hindus celebrate that puja, particularly in the eastern parts of India, it is celebrated as Kali Puja. And that day all over India you will find it is celebrated as Diwali or Deepavali. So the Deepavali is a very big festival. And eastern parts of India we celebrate as Kali Puja. And on that night or the evening at 6 to 9, we are also having a Kali Puja here. So I would request everyone to be present on the day, 27th October. Now, he says that if Kali is Brahman, that means the preserving and the creation, preservation and destruction, the power that does these three works is the same as the source of that power, then he says it is one and the same reality. Then he says, why do you consider or why do you make it into two? For that, Sri Ramakrishna is answering, because sometimes that power is inactive. Sometimes the power is active. So when it is active means what? It is creating, it is preserving, it is destroying. And non-active means, inactive means nothing is happening. So here, Sri Ramakrishna brings into picture one of the wonderful theories of creation according to the great sages of the Hindu world. He says that according to Hindus, the creation never started at one particular point of time. It is a continuous process going on forever. From when it started, nobody knows. So it is going on. So he says it is inactive. That is to say, not engaged in these types of activities. Then it is called Kali. And no, then it is called Brahman. And when it is active, then it is called Kali. And Kali is another term for Shakti. Shakti is called power. In energy, we use the English terms energy, power, etc. for Shakti. So the reality is one and the same. The difference is name and form. Whenever Sri Ramakrishna speaks about a philosophy, you will find in this book, very strange, immediately he will bring a very, very well-known example to us. Because most of us, our minds are dull. We cannot grasp some of the topmost philosophy. And unless you give some example, it's very difficult to catch that. So he says, both are same you are telling, at the same time you are telling both are different. One is active, one is inactive. That's what you are telling. And at the same time he says that both are same, one only, like milk and its whiteness. Then he gives a beautiful example in a pond where 4 places are there. So one place Hindus go and take water and they call it jal. If you go to India, you will find this is a pure word for jal. Jal they call it for water. So jal. And then Muslims comes there, Muslims. They also take the water from the same pond, same water, but they will not call jal, they will call it pani. And British, that English people come. They are also taking the same water, but they will call it water. So Sri Ramakrishna learned what is English for water. So he knows that water means that jal, pani, different words. So now these are all different, and tomorrow when you are going to learn Irish language, so we want to learn what is in Irish, what do you say about water? What is the word for water?
Ishkar.
Ishkar. So that also will know that. So the words are only different, the languages are different, but is the reality changing according to the word? No. Reality is one. Ekam Sat. Clearly the Veda says that Ekam Sat. Ekam cannot, Sat cannot be many. It can take the forms of many, but it is only one. So he says God is only one. So all these are all different in names and form only. In the same way, some address the reality. You call it reality. So you don't want to give any name to that divinity. What it is, we do not know. So call it reality, because that is only the real thing. So it is called reality. Some call it Allah, some as God, some as Brahman, some as Kali, and others by such name as Rama, Jesus, Durga, Hari. All these gods with divine names, he says, refer to one reality. But we do not know what is the reality yet. The scope of the reality also we do not know. But we can at least this much understand that these divine names refer to the same thing. If that is so, why will we fight with each other? Why should you fight? Because you are calling Allah, because I am calling God, should we fight with each other? Because you are calling God and I am calling Brahman, should we fight with each other? Because we are referring to the same reality. We may use the different languages, but the water is same. Everybody is going to drink the same water. So why should we fight? So here the harmony of different faiths that come here. Sri Ramakrishna is a modern mystic in India who stressed upon this harmony of faith. He said, don't fight. Don't create any problem amongst each other. This entire humanity is one. Not only humanity, it goes beyond the humanity. We are one with the entire universe. That universe contains not only humanity, it contains so many other things. So the oneness of the universe is one of the important teaching of Vedanta. We profess Vedanta philosophy. Vedanta as our guiding light in our life. So what does Vedanta says? Vedanta says this entire universe is one. And that one reality has become this universe. That means that reality, then it has modified into universe. These two are not different. They are same. So that position also is bringing. But in the meantime, one devotee, that is Keshav, with a smile, he is listening to Sri Ramakrishna explaining about Kali. Then he got a doubt. So the doubt immediately he puts it to him, stopping Sri Ramakrishna speaking. He says, Keshav asking, describe to us, sir, how many ways Kali, the Divine Mother, sports in this world. Okay, what did you say? You say it's a Divine Mother. I call that power as Divine Mother. That's what Ramakrishna says. So he calls that power which creates, preserves and destroys as Divine Mother. So, and you call it Kali. So, and you say, forever she is playing. She doesn't stop her play at all. Sometimes she is creating, sometimes she is preserving, sometimes destroying. So this happens forever. So if she is playing, sporting like that, in how many ways she is sporting? It's a very interesting question. You must say, tell me what type of sport she plays. Only football she plays or something else also? So we ask. So like that, what are the sporting events that she is having? That master also with a smile, because he put the question with a smile. So master also with a smile is telling, oh, she plays in different ways. And he gives the names. She is known as Mahakali, Nityakali, Smashana Kali, Raksha Kali and Shyama Kali. So many names he gave. These are all different names of Kali. And what is the names signify? Not that all these names are different means the substance is also different. No. Same subject, same personality or same divinity, same reality is called in different names. According to the way she turns herself, how it is. In the modern days we give this example that a woman can be of different temperaments, of different roles she can play in the society. when she is an advocate and goes to court with that advocate's uniform, and she will be called advocate. No, she is a lawyer. She is now handling a case. But when she comes to a house, she will be called a housewife. And when she goes and teaches some 10 children, she will be called a teacher. So professionally she may be looking different, but the same person. So whether you create or preserve or destroy, the same power is doing. So he says, when there were neither the creation nor the sun, the moon, the planets of the earth, when darkness was enveloped in darkness, then the mother, the formless one, the great power, is called Mahakali. It's called absolute. Now we come to the philosophy. When you call it absolute, we come to the Vedanta philosophy. The Vedanta philosophy says this entire universe that you are seeing is only a namesake. Actually, it is not the reality. The reality is something beyond this universe, behind this universe. That is reality. That is called Brahman. So that is what Vedanta says. And now that means there is a position when the power of that Brahman starts creating and preserving and destroying. That means it takes out all the universe within herself. She has taken out all the universe. There is no creation at that time. That means there was a time when there was no creation. How that situation would be? Because there was no sun. Who will give the light to this universe? There are no stars. There is nothing. No object. Only Brahman alone stays. That is the position is Vedanta describes as darkness enveloped by darkness. It's a very beautiful term, and very complicated term. Darkness already is there. That means nothing is there. And at that time, it is enveloped by darkness. So the Brahman alone is there, and the power of the Brahman is not yet manifested. That's all. There is no one to put the switch on. The power is there. The electricity will come when you put the switch on. But the electricity is inside that device. It is not out. It is not manifested. So God is there, but God's power is not yet manifested. So that power, that at that time, it has got a name, and it's called Mahakali. That means absolute. And the switch is now on. Automatic switches are there. Switch is on. At that time, what happens? Then the power comes out from the Brahman and starts creating, and all these activities start. At that time, she is called Nityakali, Mahakali. And he says that Shyamakali. Shyamakali means that type of Kali is worshipable by the humans. So many of the Hindu households, you find a Kali picture, and that Kali picture is not Mahakali's picture. Because Mahakali picture, no artist can draw it, because nobody knows. Nobody has seen that. Even the rishis who go into deep samadhi, they dissolve their mind. After that only Mahakali comes. So nobody can see anything. The mind itself is not there to grasp. So Mahakali cannot be known. So it remains unknown. That Mahakali has come now as Shyamakali. So what does she do? She dispenser of boons. She gives you boon. You can go and pray to her. We will keep the picture of Kali, or that Shyamakali picture only we will keep on that day. Not Mahakali, because we do not know. Who is she? What is she? What type of color she is. So when the poet asks later, that song comes, is my mother Kali is black? He is asking. How can you say black? It is beyond blackness she was there. So now she has come here as a Shyamakali. She is giving the boons. Not only she gives the boon, she is dispeller of fear. We have lots of fears. We have fear of darkness. We have fear of what is going to happen tomorrow. We have fear of meeting strangers. Some people would not go out and meet strangers. because they are having fear. There are so many types of fears, other phobias, so many types. And those fears will be removed when you worship Mother Kali. So she is a remover of it. And there is another type of Kali, she is called Raksha Kali. She is a protectress. When do you invoke this Raksha Kali? During the times of emergencies, epidemics, famine, drought, all bad things are happening around you. At that time also you worship Kali, because Hinduism says any type of bad things that are happening in the society are all coming from the same source. If there is a famine, if there is a drought, if there is an epidemic and thousands of people are dying, tsunami comes, 15,000 people died. So what happens? All these accidents, all these things are the same way. You have to take it. Good things are happening from God and bad things also happening from God. So Hinduism says this good and bad are relative only. So one has, if you are a spiritual person, you have to go beyond this good and bad. There is nothing absolute goodness, there is nothing absolute evil in this universe. Good and evil are always there. They need to stay there. Otherwise one cannot understand the difference between these two. If there is no darkness, you can't appreciate the light, Sri Ramakrishna says. Because you are appreciating the light, that means you knew what is darkness. Otherwise you will not know. So this good and bad will always remain in this universe. That is how the structure has been made by God. It is God's will. And when you say it's God's will, because we are also created by God, we consider it as God's play. For God it is a play. So whether you call the God he or she, Sri Ramakrishna is fond of telling God as she, as mother. He considers God as mother, you see. So he will always say she, the divine mother he would call it. So we may take it as he, because we are all practicing here. In this country you are all accustomed to call God as he. So whatever you call it, whether he or she, it doesn't matter. He says that Raksha Kali, she is called Raksha Kali. She protects. And then another Kali is there, Smashan Kali. She is the embodiment of power of destruction. So when she is destroying, that means Smashan is what? It's a cremation ground. In India, cremation grounds are there at a far distance from the village where the people are residing. So when a man dies, the body has to be taken out and you have to take it in a procession to the Smashan, that is the cremation ground. And then they will keep the firewood and then put the body over that and then burn it. Lit the fire and then it is burned. So that is how, this burning is a destruction. So there also in the burning ghat or burning grounds, you will have a Kali. So that Kali is called Smashan Kali. See how different ways she is playing. That's what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. And how fearful that Smashan Kali. They say some of the Smashan Kali's pictures also available. For purchase, you can purchase that. But Sri Ramakrishna cautions that type of picture should not be kept in the households, because that creates fear. God is not to be feared. God has to be loved. And if you see a fearsome picture, then you get fear in your mind. And she is the person who is going to remove the fear, dispeller of fears. And why should you keep that fearful face there? So he says, no. And how fearsome she is, he explains here. Oh, what a terrible thing. Her mouth is open. From there flows a stream of blood. That's why she has kept her mouth open. And the tongue is out. And the blood is coming out. Her neck hangs. No, from her neck hangs a garland of human heads. And around her waist is a girdle made of human hands. She doesn't wear any dress. So human hands are tied and then they are kept to cover the shame. So in that way she is there. And then he says, once these three processes he said, creation, preservation and destruction. Once the destruction is over, the next creation has to start. There may be some gap. We cannot call it time because time doesn't stay there. Time itself is not created. So beyond time it is there is some gap is there from one creation, destruction to another creation. And that gap, Sri Ramakrishna explains so beautifully. He says, oh yes, housewives have pots like that. It's called hodgepodge pot. So there is a pot. In every house we keep some pot. Even in my own room I have got a small cup. One cup is a tea cup I have got. In that I keep that hodgepodge things. And so small things, where to keep it? You can't keep it separately. So put it in one pot. So in the pot you keep it. What Mother Kali does, so after the destruction, she keeps certain things and then puts there. And when the next creation has to be started, she will take from the seeds and those seeds she will put it again and the world will come again. So it's a very beautiful concept. And she says, for the next creation, these become the seeds. She is like the elderly mistress of the house who has a hodgepodge pot where that elderly mistress keeps different articles for household use. All laugh because this example is like that. So he makes some fun, So when people laugh at this, they are remembered of that housewives or the household ladies in their own houses, you see. Each house has got a housewife and that housewife must be having a pot. And it is a very familiar scene in Bengal. So when Sri Ramakrishna is talking to the devotees and all of them can immediately strike it, yes, the hodgepodge pot we have. As I remembered my cup, like that everybody will remember that hodgepodge pot. So everybody laughs. That's a beautiful way. Then he says, they take them out when they want. In the same way, after the destruction of the universe, my Divine Mother, see how he connects with her, always calling her mine. She is mine. Then only I can become hers. The relationship is very necessary. Those who have attended the spiritual retreat this time, one of the topic was there about relationship, establishing relationship with God. How beautiful relationship one can have. So you must always feel, my Lord. That's why we say, when Jesus used to pray, he is showing us how to pray to God. Just say, my Lord. That mine is mine. That gives a wonderful, a cohesion between this small Jivatma to Paramatma. How do you connect otherwise? Through this relationship. So he says, my Divine Mother, the embodiment of Brahman. She is not different from Brahman. So he says, embodiment of Brahman. Then she, what she does, gathers together the seeds for the next creation. And he says, the creating, the primal power, after creation, dwells in this universe. What is the container and what is contained in, both are same. This is a great question that has been discussed in Upanishads. In Upanishads, the disciple asks, we say creation, 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 how did the creation come? So one answer is, did you not see a potter? A potter makes a pot. A nice pot he has made, decorative pot. The pot has been created. So the universe has been created. Then the disciple asks, if the pot has been created by potter, who has created this universe? So take it, this universe as a pot. The pot is created now. Who has created this? In pot, there is a potter. But in creation here, so we say God has created. Now the question comes, if God has created this universe, now try to go deeper into this question. The Upanishads are very, very deep truths they have. So it starts discussing. It says the question comes, the disciple asks, if God has created this universe, then with what he created? A potter creates pot by the help of clay. He goes and brings clay and then he puts water, mixes, there is a particular ratio, he mixes water and clay, and with that he makes a pot. So when God created this universe, from where he got this material? So the question comes. If the material was there to create the universe, was it existence before God? You will say definitely no. Before God it cannot exist. God is the primal thing. So if God is the primal thing, did he create the material for creating this universe? Then that material, with what he created again? So the question goes like that. So it is defective. Ab initio. In legal terms they say that infinitely it will go on. Then you say God created another material to create that material. Then another question will come, that material how he did create? So it is false. So God did not have any material to create this universe. The Upanishad gives a conclusion. Then the question comes, if God has got no material to create, then how the creation happened? A pot must have been created by somebody. Then how it happened? Then the Upanishad says, did you not see the spiders? Swami Purnanandaji in Gita class, he used to make fun, but I really feel sorry for the audience because they don't laugh at the time. He told last time there was no Mrs. Spider. Now you are laughing. At that time nobody laughed. Without Mrs. Spider, how did you create? Brahman created this universe. The Mahakali created this universe. How did she create without the material? Then the Upanishad gives answer. They say, it's a normal thing. We all see that every time, but it doesn't strike to us. But Upanishad says it struck to them. They say, did you not see spider? How the spider creates its web? Does it bring any material from outside? No. From its own mouth, it creates that saliva, and the saliva only it takes. It fixes in one place and it jumps like that, extending the saliva and fixes in another place and then starts walking on that. Again and again it goes at different spots and it makes this beautiful spider web. So the web is created now. Does it have any other material? It came from the spider's own body. So the Upanishad says, the Rishis say that this universe is created, no doubt, but not from any outside matter. God himself or herself, however you see that God or itself, God itself has become this universe. So if spider can create a web from its own body without the recourse to neither misses nor any material cause. So this is called efficient cause. So the efficient cause and material cause, the difference is there in philosophy. So this is very well discussed in Upanishads. When you come to Gita class, you can listen to such discussions, because these are very important discussions to understand this universe. That's why all the sages say this universe is God only. Why do you think the universe is different? It is God only. We all the humans are God, and the birds are God, animals are God, everything is God in this universe. Nothing is out of God. Recently we went to the Rose Garden in, what is that castle it's called? Green Gardens. They are such beautiful roses. You know, I saw after a long time the orange color roses there. So beautiful orange color roses, red roses, and then pink roses. There are so many wide varieties of roses. When you see that, you feel what a glory of God. God has created. And from each plant they have come and bunches of roses. You see the glory of God not only in roses, you see the glory of God in children. You see in the human beings, in the animals, your own pet, how you find, how you love them. So, the glory of God is present in the universe. That means God has become this universe. That's why the universe is so wonderful. So this philosophy, Sri Ramakrishna puts it in such a beautiful way. The spider brings the web out of itself and then remains in it. So what is the conclusion from this philosophical conclusion? Says, God is the container of the universe. He is the container. And also what is contained in it. So if the container is made of the same thing, there are some cakes or some other items I have seen in some of the shops. You don't have separate container. You eat that inside and that outside also you eat that. Both are edible. So the container and what is contained in, both are same. In the same way God has become this universe. What a beautiful idea. He brings it from the Upanishads so that we can understand them in a beautiful way. So we shall proceed next for the next class. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampadrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namama. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.